Hello, this is Ari Manard, Mitrava, and anyway, universal truths. We all know that there are truths that are universal. I mean, some people will reject the whole idea out of hand and say there's no such thing as truth. Trust me, it's true. Yeah, their argument doesn't hold up very far into any reasoning. Obviously, there are things that are universally true. We know the conditions at which water will boil. That's one of the simplest universal things we know. We know those conditions. If the conditions are right, we know if it will or will not boil. We just know that. Universal truth. We know. Now, when people go forward to things that they are not able to comprehend very well, they start to lose their way. They don't think of these things logically or reasonably anymore. They tend to accept things that make them feel good, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's a training that the brain has undergone. Once we realize it's happening and see it happening, we can do something about it, but until then, it's pretty rampant. Children are told that there's, at least in this country, there's an Easter bunny, a magical bunny that runs around everywhere hiding eggs for children. That there's Santa Claus, a magical man from the North Pole that runs around delivering gifts to kids that were good and spies on them all year. Anyway, as far as universal truths go, nobody would make it through a single day without believing something of universal truth or believing things at all. So let's say you go into the kitchen and you want something to drink. Well, are you going to go into the refrigerator and get orange juice? Or are you going to go under the sink and drink Drano? Well, probably there's universal truths involved there that are very simple, very simple. You know what's in that bottle because you know it's true. You've had personal experience with this, you've tested it, that kind of thing. You know what to expect. Now, life's a lot that way when it goes to the things that are hard to comprehend. Very much like karma or what things you should or shouldn't participate in within your life. Give your energy to, give your effort to. And let's say something simple once again to start off with, telling lies to people. Well, people generally know that telling lies is not necessarily a good thing. Most people know it's not a good thing, but they still do it. So do they really know that it's a bad thing? Or do they just think they know that it's a bad thing? Because it seems like they just think they know. Because if they knew, would they still be doing it? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. So a person will tell you they don't lie, but it's not real useful in determining whether or not they're a liar, for obvious reasons, I guess. But I find that these people that are saying they don't lie on a regular basis. Very rarely do I find somebody that says they don't lie and they really don't lie on a regular basis. And usually for no real reason at all. Just to do it, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's habitual. A compulsion they can't seem to break because they're not working on it. Because once again, I don't think they're concerned. But that is a universal truth. Everybody's had enough testing already in their own personal life. They've tested it themselves, what lies they could get away with, what lies they couldn't, what backlash they were going to get. And there's more than we know because, karma. We don't necessarily know all the wheels we set in motion when we do something, when we make an effort in the world. And that's karma. Karma will come back for you sometimes. Sometimes really hard, too. A little thing can have a large effect, and a large thing can have a small effect. If you know the lying's bad and you've tested it and you proved it, it seems like the next thing you would do is put it into practice, right? And when you practiced it, you'd see if it really is a wise thing or not. It really is productive or it really isn't. And sometimes you might be surprised. Something you thought, oh, here, I tested it, it's true, but you try it out and it is not productive. Just because something true does not mean it is wise, productive, or good for everybody. But everything that a person would really want in their life is, oddly enough. And that really brings me to the next point, even though I haven't gotten to an advanced example yet. I'll break it right there and go into that, is that it's universal truth, true for everybody. Obviously, it's made that way. The universe is specifically made that way. And whether it's the universe, you believe it's a made thing, or you think it's a random thing, or you think God's made it, or some future version of humans made it, or no matter what theory you might have, you really can't deny that it looks like a designed thing. The things that the universe wants from you are good for you. The things that the universe does not want for you, they're not good for you. And so we can go ahead and go with the flow of the universe, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. It actually takes quite a bit more effort to go against the universe. And of course, it's going to cause a lot of suffering. You might not recognize it, of course, but it does. And let's go to that medium example that I gave of lying. The universe will show you that that's not what it wants. It'll separate you from people. It'll make you less powerful, and it will keep you down, which the opposite would be truth. However, truth's a little bit of a wild card. People have different responses to truth as they hear it. Some are quite negative, but you don't tell people the truth because you think they're going to get a warm fuzzy and hug you. You do it because you have to. You feel like you have to. Like somebody has to do something and you're the one that's there, so you should probably do it. As far as the universe being a constructed thing, I do get religious people that think God made the universe, and for some reason, most of them seem to be thinking that whatever book they think is the holy book of their God is where they should get their truth, and they shouldn't pay attention to the universe. That everything they need to know is in whatever holy book, and they shouldn't look or think about anything else. Oh, you see that black cat on the wall? Oh, it was a bird. Anyway, that's not good. I'm distracting myself. All right. Anyway, they think that their God made the universe, and that's good. Okay. It's a design thing. Okay, whatever. But then they want to look somewhere else and not pay attention to the universe, which doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, we see people of all these worldly religions that say that it's really about peace and loving each other, of course, killing each other, starting wars, and all kinds of horrible things. So they say they believe it, but do they really believe it? Would be my point there. Once again, with the life practice, you can't have a life practice if you're not going to go through these universal truths and go, is it true? Have I tested it? Could I test it again today and get the same results? Has everybody got the same results as me? If so, it's a universal truth. If you practice whatever that is, that concept of it at least, in life, what results do you get? Wise, productive, good for everybody, or not? And it's also true that even if you can't understand how a universal truth works, how it functions, you can still test it and you can still practice it. You don't necessarily need to understand how it works. Karma, for example, you don't need to know how each wheel of the universe turns the next wheel on in an endless bunch of gears or wheels. Uh, you don't need to know that. You just need to know that it's true. It really does come back around, whatever you're doing, whatever you're putting out there. And advanced, anyway, before I go to the advanced example, I'll still put one more thing in, and that's that if you're going to do the right thing, you should really be doing it because it's the right thing to do and not looking for some sort of reward and not to avoid some sort of punishment that you're afraid of. You don't want to be run by fear, and you don't want to be run by seeking the best pleasure. Both of those things lead to ruin, and they're not good examples of the reasons you should be doing stuff. Ultimately, of course, people don't want to suffer. I understand that. But we don't want to be putting extra things in there that we think are punishments and rewards that we don't really know. You know, we want to believe they make us feel good, but to believe these things, but we don't know. So since we don't need to lean on those things that we don't know, and we really do know that there are these universal truths, we can test, we can prove all those things, that we can do the right things because they are the right things, not do the wrong things because they are the wrong things. We know they'll be damaging to us. Then we can have an honest practice. The religious people will say, well, see, that's the thing. Their God wants everybody to do the thing in the book because it's the good thing and it'll bring good results. And they don't want to do the bad thing because they feel sorry for you. They don't want you to suffer. Okay, well, most of that backfires in most religions because if you don't do what they say, they're going to punish you with suffering. So, that's odd. And if you're going to get some kind of treasure, why not the treasure right now, right here in your life? If you're going to get punishment, why not pay attention to what you've got right here? And I'm not going to say that everything you get you somehow deserve, or everything you get you somehow brought upon yourself, because that's just freaking ridiculous. You've got free will. Everybody's got free will. You're discounting everybody else's free will if you think what they're doing rules your life or what you're doing rules their life. You both share a life. So I'll equate that to two people believing that their God is going to let their football team win, except they're on different teams. Somebody's team has to lose. So it's kind of silly. Also, that gods would be involved in human athletic activities. Anyway, so we have a foundation of universal truth. We know there are truths. We know the universe is seemingly a designed thing. It has ways about it that are definite. An advanced universal truth would be something like that. Hate can never really destroy hate. Violence can't destroy violence. That these things self-propagate. That you never remove a thing with a thing like it like that. That's negative. Positive can remove negativity. Certainly, hate can't destroy hate, and hate can't destroy love, but love can destroy hate. So that kind of makes an odd kind of an interaction there. But they're universal truths, and they're pretty advanced, but if you look at it, you really can test it out. You can see where it's been tested again and again. People that really love something or someone, it doesn't really matter what gets in their way. They could get hated all day from people, and it really wouldn't stop them from enjoying whatever it is that they want to enjoy that way. And people that are obsessed with hate, of course, hating them's not going to change it. And with violence, you're not going to stop violence with violence. We've tried that pretty much all over the world throughout history, and that doesn't work very well. A more advanced version of that would be capital punishment, killing people because they killed people. Once again, doesn't make any sense, and it actually introduces more people into the murder because they're going to watch or participate in this murder in some way, and somebody's going to be the executioner, who normally, we assume anyway, would not be a murderer, but because they want to kill people that kill, quite ironic situation, they're creating another murderer. So someone else kills someone and then, I don't know, gets to decide if they like it. They'd like to go ahead and practice that. It's not going to help anyway. And you get all kinds of backlash from that. Of course, that person that got killed in capital punishment, they had a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, aunt, uncle, whatever, cousins. So they get pulled into it. Generally, there are sides drawn where, let's say, a gang or criminal organization, even if it really was a bad thing they did, wants to take vengeance on whoever, gave the cops information, the cops themselves, the legal system, the country, a community, so on and so forth. You could see examples of cartels and how they've operated. And a lot of those cartel people have been executed. And it never has stopped it. Never has stopped the cartels. You can't stop a murdering organization by murdering the people in it that you catch, to set an example. It just never works out that way. It's like trying to plug more holes than you have fingers in a dam, and the backup pressure from stopping it, creating more holes, the more holes you fill. Anyway, I guess I'm going ahead of myself because I'm going to make that an example in a different talk. But anyway, basically, if you have the universal truth process of knowing it, you test it, you prove it, you practice it, you find out if it's wise, productive, good for everybody, then you can use that on just about anything and practice whatever it is in one way or another, or know that you shouldn't. It's going to be really hard to share those things with other people if they don't have the right information. So probably should be aware of that. Anyway, since I've spoken for 20 minutes pretty much nonstop, I guess I'll give it a break. Any questions from Heather? I'll wait for a second. She could be typing, or maybe she's fallen asleep. All right, well, no question there. All right, well, I'm pleased to present this talk, and next week I don't know what the topic will be. I don't plan these things, I don't script, and that's why it sounds so real, I guess. It's because it is real. And I just put the camera out there and I talk and see what happens. And it doesn't matter if nobody shows up, which certainly somebody showed up today. I would like to have a lot of people, but it is what it is. Everything starts somewhere. Just like that crooked little tree out there, I suppose. All right. Well, I guess I'll sign off for the day. I hope for everybody the best things in life. and I hope you can see your way through to enjoying them for yourself and experiencing them for yourself. Thank you.